Well, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Wednesday Lunchtime Drive-Thru. I am Damon King, your short order cook for today, and I'm also a certified financial planner and wealth management specialist with ChappelWood Financial. I'm also the lead instructor for ChappelWood University, which is the educational arm of ChappelWood Financial, which is why we do these Wednesday webinars. And we want to thank all of you. We've gathered so many of you through this year. We started these this year, 2020, and they've just grown and grown and grown. I mean, now we've got over 100 people that have subscribed to this, and they're not all on every week, but we get a good number of you on every week. And this is just an opportunity for me to kind of share something that's going on. Talk about the markets. Of course, politics has been on everyone's mind here recently. But today I want to share one of my favorite topics with you, and it is the daily success habits of millionaires. A lot of you don't know this story about me. You don't know why I became a financial advisor. I've shared it with many of you, many who are our clients who are on the call today. When I was in my early 20s, I made some horrific financial decisions. And I was not very good with my money. It's not that my parents taught me poorly or anything. I mean, they taught me to save my money. I just made bad decisions, like a lot of people do in their early 20s. And my last semester of college, I had to put on a credit card because I lost my scholarship. And so I paid for my last semester of college with a credit card, the very first credit card I ever owned. Unfortunately, I did not cut up that credit card after that. I used it. And I graduated and I moved out. And of course, I got an apartment with some buddies of mine. And of course, when you get an apartment, what are you going to do? You got to fill it with the nicest furniture, right? And you got to stock the wet bar, right? Because you're going to throw amazing parties so that all the girls come over to your place. You want your apartment to be the party place, right? And so for about 3 years, I lived great on that credit card. And by the time I was 24 years old, I was more than $17,000 in credit card debt. And there's actually a video of this on our YouTube channel, Financial Diva, where I share this story, how I went from $17,000 in debt to financial advisor. I won't share the entire story of how I got out of that debt. Suffice to say, I got out of the debt. And during that process of getting out of that debt, I realized how much I love learning about money, learning about building wealth. It wasn't just about getting out of debt anymore. It was about, how do I build wealth? How are other people who already have wealth, how did they do it? And I read books, I went to classes, I listened to podcasts, I talked to people who had money. And then one day I found this really great book called Millionaire Habits, the Success Habits of Millionaires, or something like that. Wealthy Habits, I think. And now the name of the guy that wrote it, I can't believe I just lost it. But it's it's called Wealthy Habits. And he did this 5-year study of daily habits of millionaires. What do millionaires do on a daily basis so that they don't just become millionaires, they stay millionaires, they multiply their wealth? And he identified over 300 different characteristics. What I want to show to you today are the 10 that mean the most to me, because I realized what these habits are they have nothing to do with how much you know about money. Nothing in this today is how well you know how to pick stocks or manage your portfolio. That's not what this is. These are lifestyle choices. These are choices that you make in your life, how your attitude, how you choose to live, that anybody can do. And that's why I love this topic, because this is not intended for the super wealthy. This is not intended for Republicans or Democrats. This is not intended for Christians, Jews, or Muslims. It doesn't matter. This is intended for everybody. Anybody can do what I'm about to show you. All right. So without further ado, let's launch into the 10 daily success habits of millionaires. Number 1. They work every day. Okay, so here are certain habits that they share. They work every day. They do some kind of work every day. That doesn't necessarily mean that they go to work every day, but they work every day. They do something, whether it's for a job that they have or it's some project that they're working on. They're always in motion. Okay, that's also why a lot of millionaires tend to live a long time, because they're always staying active, mentally and physically. They save and invest. That's a no-brainer, right? If you save and invest long enough period of time, you're going to have money. They are people of action. They get things done. Millionaires are not lazy people. They have multiple streams of income. Did you know that from a financial standpoint, one of the true hallmarks of most millionaires is that they don't have just Social Security and then their investments. They have multiple other streams of income. Many of you on the call today have minerals. You get oil income. You have rental real estate that you derive income from. All right. You have a side business or you're running a business. You have some other stream of income. Healthy habits are the key to becoming and staying wealthy. It isn't just about earning the money, it's about keeping it, right? If you listen to our radio show, it's all about the money, honey. In the intro, the music that plays, you hear Victoria said, it's not about what you earn, it's about what you keep. Lots of people can earn $1 million. It's a lot harder to keep it, all right? So goal number one, or habit number one, millionaires keep their goals in sight, all right? 62% of wealthy people. So in this study, Thomas Corley, that's the name of the author. It just came to me. So go Google Thomas, Thomas, Thomas or Tom Corley, Corley. And he's the one that did this 5-year longitudinal study of millionaires. And he didn't just research millionaires, he also researched poor people too. All right, we're not talking about poor people. But as you can imagine, there are mentalities that people have that dictate their direction in life. Your attitude will determine your altitude, right? Wealthy people tend to have a certain set of attitudes. Poor people tend to have another set of attitudes, okay? 62% of wealthy people focus on their goals every day, whereas poor people tend not to focus on their goals. Wealthy people write their goals down, okay? So, I'm looking at, do you have a to-do list like this? Now, this is my new to-do list today. I've been busy since this morning, so I got more things to write on here. But you probably have a to-do list, right? What do you need to do that day? So write down your goals, make them very achievable and very specific. Okay. If you write down your goals, you make a mental contract with yourself to say, I'm getting this list done. Today is the day. I'm getting these things done today, or I am taking some step toward getting to that goal, which is actually the key thing. It isn't about always achieving those goals every day. It's about taking some step every day to get closer to that goal. So if it's a really big goal, I'm going to build a house, my dream house. Okay, well then what step can you take today? Well, today I'm going to call the engineer who's working on my floodplain study to ask him what kind of a bridge should we build over the creek, and we're going to get that done. That doesn't have anything to do with building the house, but it has everything to do with getting the site ready, which is exactly what I'm doing right now. My wife and I are going to build a house next year, our dream house, on 9 acres of land, and part of the land is in a floodplain. So I'm like, okay. A lot of people are like, oh, I guess you're going to have to stay away from that. I'm like, heck no, I'm not going to stay away from that. I love the land. I'm going to do what millionaires do. I'm going to find a way to make it work. So what do we have to do to make it work? Hire an engineer, get a floodplain study done to show you where to build the bridge, to get across the creek, and to build the house. Done. Crossed off the list. All right. So what are you doing today to get to your goals? Number 2, millionaires know what need to be done, or they know what needs to be done. 81% of wealthy people keep a daily to-do list. We talked about that. And they accomplish 70% or more of those tasks each day. So what's different between this and the other thing that we just talked about? This is your daily to-do list. But if we come back here, this is more of a life to-do list. So in addition to a daily to-do list, my wife and I have what we call our vision board. And our vision board has big goals every 5 years or so lined out that by the end of 2020, we want to have this done. And then 2025, 2030, 2050, 2070. I will turn 100 years old in the year 2076. Okay. Now the odds say I'm not going to make it, right? But do you know that I have goals that go all the way out to 2085? When I'll be 109 years old, I'm optimistic, baby. Hey, if you plan for it, your brain will find a way to make you live long enough so you can achieve that goal. If you put enough time into it. So I know you might be laughing at me. I'm kind of laughing at me too, but The point is, I'm expecting to live to be 109 so I can finish that 2085 goal. All right. So this is a life, these are life goals right here. All right. Big goals in the future. This is your daily to-do list. Learning how to prioritize your daily goals is a key. It takes practice. Most people aren't born knowing how to do this, but it takes practice. Again, so far, have you seen anything here that you can't personally do that millionaires do? Not so far, you haven't. Let's go on to number 3. Limit your screen time. Now, this one might be a tough one for a lot of you. We watch a lot of TV in our society, but 67% of wealthy people report watching less than 1 hour of TV every day. Less than 1 hour, okay? And the genre of television that they watch the least is reality TV, okay? They're usually watching the news, they're watching a market update, or they might be watching a show that they enjoy. But what they're watching the least is reality TV. I mean, think about it. What is reality TV? A lot of it is garbage, right? It might be mildly entertaining, but a lot of it is just garbage. If you feed your mind with garbage, what's going to come out of you is garbage. Garbage in, garbage out, right? Few people get rich just sitting in front of the TV. It's hard to make money or earn money when you're here, just sitting, all right? You got to be out. Relationships are made when you get out and meet people, right? And do stuff. Relationships are the key to getting wealthy. There are very few self-made millionaires in this world. Now, instead of watching TV, what are millionaires mostly spending their time doing? They pick up a book every now and then. They read. 88% of wealthy people report that they read for pleasure at least 30 minutes per day. For pleasure, all right? It's not something you have to do. When I was a kid, my mom and dad made me read books to buy my TV time, okay? When you're a kid, TV is everything, right? And they made us read for every hour of TV we wanted to watch, we had to read 2 hours of books. You know what that made me do? It made me hate reading, okay? So now, today, I read all the time. I read for pleasure. What would you say, which genre of books would you say that the average millionaire is reading, okay? Do you think they read more fiction or nonfiction? Which would you say? And so I want to open this up to the group here. So go into the Q&A section there and just type in, what do you think, is it fiction or nonfiction that most millionaires read? And do we have any thoughts on that? Let's make this interactive. Anybody have any ideas? Fiction or nonfiction? Anybody have any thoughts? Nobody? Ah, there we go. Let's see here. Nonfiction. Linda says nonfiction. Wendy says nonfiction for pleasure. Eddie says nonfiction. You guys got it. I want to give credit here. Nancy says nonfiction. All of you are right. Millionaires read mostly nonfiction for pleasure. That doesn't mean that they don't read the occasional fiction book, but they mostly read nonfiction. And can you guess what kind of nonfiction book they're mostly reading? They are primarily reading, if I can get my slide to change here, they're primarily reading nonfiction self-improvement books. Self-improvement, all right? So it might be a book about investing in real estate or the stock market. It could just be a book on changing your attitude. It could be a book on developing good habits. Maybe it's a book on how to negotiate better. I read this, well, actually, see, I read very little books, tangible books. I read very few tangible books. You know what I do? I use this wonderful, amazing little device, and I listen to audiobooks. I have probably listened to 70 audiobooks this year, okay? Mostly nonfiction. Now, some of them are not self-improvement. For example, one of my favorite books that I listened to this year was The Killers of the Flower Moon. It's about the Osage Indians here in Oklahoma. Maybe you've read it. They're making a movie about it. Leonardo DiCaprio, Martin Scorsese is making a movie about that in Oklahoma. So I listened to that book, but I listened to all kinds of books about just self-improvement. How do I become better? How do I make better decisions? How do I have a better attitude? How do I negotiate better? There's another book called Never Split the Difference. And it's all about how to negotiate for yourself so that you don't lowball yourself when it comes to asking for a raise, or when it comes to putting your house on the market and you want to get what you want to get. Stop compromising to the point that you are hurting yourself. Don't split the difference. And it's a really good book. If you've never heard of it, it's called Never Split the Difference. But millionaires read voraciously, and they're reading primarily nonfiction self-improvement books. What about number 5? Well, I just kind of alluded to it. Millionaires listen to podcasts and audiobooks. Think about how much time you spend in the car driving. Think about how much time you are working in your yard, especially if you've got limbs that are down. Think about how much time you're in the kitchen making dinner. Think about how much time you're going places, doing stuff. In between going from one place to the other, from one task to the next, there's time, right? Get your phone out, use this incredible, powerful device, and you can go to iTunes. You can search out podcasts that are absolutely free on any number of topics. You can learn so much from all these people, and it's totally free. Okay? The library system has books, audiobooks that you can tap into for free. I have a subscription to a site called Audible, and it's through Amazon, but it's Audible. I pay 13 bucks a month for this, okay? And that's where I download and listen to all of my audiobooks. And on my way to the office, and on my way home, and when I'm driving to the grocery store, and when I'm going to Lowe's, or if I'm just driving to breakfast somewhere, I'm listening to an audiobook. You can do that too. 63% of wealthy people listen to audiobooks and podcasts driving to and from work. And these do tend to be news and current event based. Mine are not always news based, although I do listen to talk radio, just like a lot of you do. And of course, I encourage you to listen to News Radio 1000, KTOK, for It's All About the Money, honey, Saturday at 1 p.m. and Sunday at 6 a.m. Okay, so there's my radio announcer voice and my pitch for the radio show, okay? But use the time in your car and just in between to plan your day, to learn something new. That is how millionaires are lifelong learners. Of all the millionaires I've met, many of them are our clients. Some of them are people I've known in my past. One of the defining characteristics of people like that are that they never believe they know it all. They are constantly learning. There's always something new to learn. You can do that too. You can do that too. Many of you already are, so just keep up the good work. Habit number 6. Okay, I love this picture right here. This woman is putting full power into that lift right there. Millionaires go above and beyond at work. So if you're still working, you want to be the very best employee that company has ever seen, okay? 81% of wealthy people say that they do more than their job requires, and most of them work more than 50 hours per week. Now, I have never been the kind of person that says, if you work 40 hours per week, that's nothing. I've never been the kind of person that says you got to work 60 hours per week to show that you're really doing a good job. Usually when I hear people brag, oh, I work 80 hours a week, I'm like, wow, you must not be very efficient with the 40 hours that you have. That's kind of what I think. I'm not impressed when you brag about how many hours per week you work. What I'm impressed by is how much you get done in the time that you are working. And if it takes 20 hours, fine. Okay, I'm more impressed by someone who only works 20 hours a week, but gets the same or more amount done as the person who works 40 hours a week. But the point to this slide is that millionaires tend to do far more than is required. They do more than is necessary. Generally, they're doing more because the work that they are doing is work that they love. That is a key to becoming a millionaire. Most millionaires are small business owners. So right now, if you own a small business, you probably don't think of yourself as a millionaire, but every day you get up and you think, man, I'm going to get in there and kill it today. This is my life. This is my passion. But even if you don't have that kind of job right now, it doesn't mean that you can't go above and beyond and be the best employee. I have always set a goal that any job I ever had, I always wanted to be the best hiring decision my boss at that time ever made in the entirety of their career. Even when I was 25 years old and I got a job, my first fundraising job, I wanted to work so hard and so well that I was the best person that James, my boss at the time, had ever hired and would ever hire for the rest of his life. I don't know if that's true or not, but in my mind, that's what I was working towards. Less than 7% of millionaires are unhappy in their work. Less than 7%. So if you do work that you enjoy, there's a high correlation between really enjoying your work and becoming a millionaire. Okay. Habit number 7, take more profitable risks. Only 6% of wealthy people report that they play the lottery regularly. They're not hoping to win a jackpot. As you can imagine, a much higher percentage of poorer people, less wealthy people, a higher percentage say that they purchase lottery tickets. There's a strong correlation between people who have wealth who don't buy lottery tickets. They don't take huge, risky gambles. Contrary to popular belief, people with a lot of money tend not to take as many gambles because now their goal is to keep that money. When you have a lot of money, opportunities come your way all the time. People are going to ask you to invest in this and do this. What you must develop is the skill to be able to determine which opportunities are worth my time and are not. The lottery, fun as it might be, it's fun. I've never bought a lottery ticket. That doesn't make me a saint or anything. I just don't really have any desire to buy a lottery ticket. It's just like a waste of money to me. So, a lot of millionaires, they're not going to play the lottery. They do take risks, however. You cannot become a millionaire without taking some risks, whether that's in the stock market or whatever, but they take risks on investments with better odds of achieving. You've got much better odds of earning wealth in the stock market than from the lottery. You've got far better odds of gaining wealth from purchasing real estate than going to Las Vegas and hitting a jackpot, right? So take risks, but you want to take profitable ones, those that are going to have a better opportunity for return. Okay. Habit number 8, watch your waistline. Keep that weight down. 57% of wealthy people count their calories that they eat every day, or they're at least aware of how much they're eating. They don't overeat. They tend not to overeat. Millionaires take care of their bodies, okay? Because they know it's really hard to earn wealth when you're lying in a hospital bed somewhere. It's really hard to build an empire if you're sick all the time. If you're constantly having to take off work because of various conditions, things like that. Now, again, this is not, I'm not here to make fun of people who might have a little extra weight. I've got some extra weight on me that I'm trying to lose, okay? In fact, I got 10 more pounds to lose to meet my goal of getting to 185 pounds by the end of this year. But the point is, if you take care of your body, take care of this temple, it can go out and multiply your wealth more, right? This is the only body you're ever going to be given. So you got to take care of it so that you can go out and build that wealth. Related to taking care of your body is take care of your smile. Your smile, in some way, the eyes are the window to the soul. Well, your smile is the front door, right? You've got a nice, bright smile. You take care of your teeth. It's welcoming. It's warm, right? Everybody loves to be smiled at. You walk somewhere and someone gives you a slight smile and a nod. You feel better, right? 62% of wealthy people floss every day. And they get their teeth cleaned at least twice per year, all right? So if you have dental insurance, you probably have at least 2 cleanings per year. Go every 6 months, okay? And that's what I do. I'm going to admit I don't floss every day, but I generally floss 3 to 4 times per week, all right? You want to take care of your smile. Again, people who say looks don't matter are stupid. Looks do matter. Whether you want it to be true or not, looks do matter, all right? For my clients who are sitting out there right now, if you came to visit me the very first time and my hair was all messed up and it's clear that I hadn't shaven and I didn't have a beard, but I also wasn't shaven. It was just kind of a jumbled mess. And I had really bad breath and I didn't brush my teeth, and I just looked like I got out of bed. Would you have made the choice to hire me as your advisor? Probably not. right? The very first impression you made about me was when you saw me. And then when I opened my mouth, you made other impressions, right? But first impressions matter. It's hard to go out and win the hearts and minds of people that you want to help you on your path to becoming a millionaire unless you take care of yourself. All right? Unless you take care of yourself. And then finally, well, there you go. People who smile are liked more and they have more confidence. All right. And then finally, number 10, and this one's really hard to do, especially in this day and age of everybody has an opinion. And if you don't agree with me, then I hate you. Unfortunately, that's kind of where our world's at now. But avoid negative people. All right. 86% of wealthy people associate with people who are as or more successful than they are. So if you want to learn how to earn more money, if you want to learn how to build more wealth, hang around with people who've already done it. You know, expand your sphere of influence to include people who are a lot smarter than you, who have more wealth than you, who are more well known than you. Those people will lift you up to their level because they don't want to hang around people who are below their level. All right. So they will lift you up to their level. Allow them to do that and be willing to be lifted up to that level. Success tends to breed success. If you surround yourself with success, you're probably going to have success. If you surround yourself with failure, and there's nothing wrong with failure by itself, failure can be the greatest teacher. Failure can lead you to amazing heights of success. But if you hang around people who wallow in failure, wallow in negativity, you're going to be just like them. And you're not going to be someone I want to hang around. I don't like negative people in my life. It's just how I am. All right. Let's see if we have any questions here. It doesn't appear that we have any other questions at this time. So, are there any questions? You know, this is less about, hey, Damon, tell me what the strategy is. I'd like to know, you know, we do have a few minutes here. Would some of you be kind enough to share some success habits that you use? You know, what is something that you have personally done, or maybe you still do, that has made you successful, that has kept you healthy, kept you vibrant? What's something that you do that you would share with me, you know, or share with someone who's younger than you know? Go ahead in the Q&A and share something like that. So I'll tell you a little bit more of the story as you're thinking about sharing your success habits, your daily success habits. So a lot of people then ask me, okay, well, you were $17,000 in debt when you were 24. How did you get out of it? And I got out of it through a lot of pain. I was driving home one Friday night. So I was graduated from college and I had a job. And I was driving home one Friday night. I had already paid my rent and my car payment, and I didn't have any money left. Let's see, what do we have right here? This is some great advice from Steve. So Steve, thank you for sharing this, okay? Steve says this is the advice he would give, and this is obviously what he has done and continues to do. Put your money to saving the same as you would a bill. Pay yourself first. Outstanding advice, Steve. Perfect advice. Okay? You don't have to be a financial advisor to give this advice. This is advice, if you're a Dave Ramsey fan, you say it's advice your grandma would give, right? That's what he says. Pay yourself first. Make transfers to savings a part of your budget, right? Budget that in as an expense for the year. I'll give you a perfect example of one small way I do this. I have my main savings account and I have my checking account. I also have a money market account that pays me a higher rate of interest, and I keep most of my cash there so that I earn more interest. And then I pull it out as I need it to pay bills, taxes, things like that. I have separate other savings accounts for very specific purposes so that I achieve what Steve is talking about here. Number one, I have my tax account. So I'm self-employed, so I have to pay quarterly taxes. Very first thing I do when I get paid, I carve off money and I set it in my tax account. Taxes are going to be paid. Done. Then I set aside, I have a Christmas account, and every month, I set aside 75 bucks. Okay, 75 bucks every month just goes into the Christmas account. I don't ever touch it. I don't even think about it. Now we're coming up on Christmas. I've saved over $1,500 in there in that account because we don't use all the money every year. So earmark little savings accounts for those kinds of purposes. Ellen has another great suggestion. Ellen says limit screen time and use driving time to educate and follow up with people important to me for business, personal communications. Pay me first. So she pays herself first. I don't buy anything I can't pay for within 30 to 60 days. So Ellen is almost on a cash basis only. Maybe she uses Ellen, you probably use a credit card and then you pay it off every month, right? Or if it's a big purchase, yeah, if you're going to carry a balance, you know, I'm only going to carry that for a short time. Oh, Nancy, this is a really good one. I like this one. So this is if you're married, if you have a spouse or a significant other, you've got a joint income. Nancy says live on one salary when you're both working, if it's possible. That's a great suggestion, because imagine living on that one salary and the other salary is going to investing. You max out the 401k, you max out the IRAs, you just put it into savings and you fill those buckets, cash, investments, opportunities, right? If it's possible. The other reason I like that suggestion, Nancy, is because that is a great test drive for later on in retirement when neither of you has a paycheck anymore, right? And you are now in voluntary unemployment. If you can live on just one of your salaries, you've proven to yourself that you can do it. And that is probably going to mean that you're going to realize that in retirement, well, we lived off of $6,000 or $7,000 every month before retirement. We can probably do that now. And now, oh, by the way, we've saved up a couple $1 million. That should be pretty easy to do. All right. All right. It's just after 12:30, so I do want to wrap up today. I want to thank Steve and Ellen and Nancy and Linda and Eddie for all of your comments today. Thank you so much for sharing with us and giving us some great advice. I want to make sure that I haven't missed any other questions. I don't think that I have. So I want to inspire you right now. Go out, get things done. Just get it done. You know, make those lists. Go out this weekend. I've told you to do this before. Now, listen to me. I'm not giving you orders. Let me be a little kinder about it. I encourage you to go out this weekend. Get yourself a piece of poster board. Write your big goals down. Dream big. Stretch yourself. Stretch your imagination beyond the limits, okay, of what you think you could possibly achieve. Because even if you don't get here, you'll likely get here, which is better than here, right? So go out, get it done. I do want to let you know that you can go and enroll in Rock Your Retirement. We do have a course coming up tomorrow night. So it starts tomorrow night, November the 12th. It is our last course of 2020. So if you've not been to my course and you would like to get enrolled, it's totally free. It's totally online. Just go to ChappelWoodU.com to get enrolled. Starts at 6:30. And I'll make sure that you get the course workbook and everything. But that is our last class of the year. I'll be announcing 2021 dates here pretty soon, but I'm going to start back up in February of 2021. Right now, I'm probably still going to be virtual. But hey, let's hope that Pfizer is really telling the truth, that they've got a vaccine that is 90% effective. Hopefully, other drug companies will come online. The market's been liking that, right? So let's keep our fingers crossed. Let's continue to pray. And, you know, I pray for you guys. I hope that you stay safe. I wish you to have a wonderful rest of your week. Have a great weekend and get out there, rock your retirement, and let's all live the lifestyle of a millionaire. Thanks so much. And we'll see you next time on the Wednesday lunchtime drive-thru. Have a great day.